There is a quiet kind of power that rarely announces itself. It does not come with aggression, noise, or the dramatic movements people often associate with dominance. Instead, it comes with a silence that unsettles, a presence that is steady because it cannot be manipulated, and a mind that does not react impulsively. This skill is ancient. Machiavelli wrote about it in the shadows of political courts. Sun Tzu embedded it into the strategies of warfare. Yet today, in everyday life, very few people practice it. And those who do often intimidate others without ever meaning to. The skill is inner composure under pressure, the ability to remain unaffected while everyone else is carried away by emotion, chaos, and external influence. You may have noticed that most people panic when things go wrong. They rush for answers. They seek validation. They react before understanding. Their emotions create noise, and their noise creates mistakes. But the person who is calm, truly calm from within, is operating on an entirely different psychological plane. He sees more, understands more, and chooses more deliberately. This is why such a person becomes quietly intimidating. He's not controlled by praise nor weakened by criticism. He does not reveal what he is thinking. He does not show his full hand. And while others are carried by impulses, he moves by intention. Machiavelli called this the advantage of the unmoved mover, the individual who cannot be provoked into revealing his weakness. Sun Tzu described it as commanding the battlefield by first commanding oneself. But here is the most important truth. This composure is not coldness. It is not apathy. It is discipline. It is the understanding that reacting instantly is surrendering control. And the men who master this skill often terrify other men because they cannot be easily predicted, manipulated, or influenced. Their stillness becomes its own form of strength. In a world where people hurry to prove themselves, the man who waits dominates. In this video, we will explore what this skill really is, why it unsettles others, and how Machiavelli and Sun Tzu quietly encoded this principle into their teachings, not as a weapon against others, but as a path to self-mastery, clarity, and strategic living. Let us begin. Number 1, the strategic calm, power through non-reactivity. True power is not loud, it is measured. It does not announce itself through raised voices, frantic reactions, or dramatic displays. Instead, it reveals itself through restraint. Sun Tzu wrote that the strongest warrior is the one who can choose when not to fight, because the man who can walk away from unnecessary battles has already mastered himself. To him, victory is not a matter of emotion, but of timing and clarity. Machiavelli echoed the same truth centuries later, when he warned leaders never to act from impulse. In his eyes, those who react too quickly become predictable, and the predictable man is the easiest one to control. When a person learns to slow down internally, something subtle happens. The world around them begins to adjust. The calm man creates uncertainty in others because they cannot read him. They cannot tell whether he is pleased or displeased, threatened or indifferent. His silence becomes a mirror that forces people to confront their own emotions, insecurities, and assumptions. This alone shifts the dynamics of power. Most people reveal everything through their reactions. A sigh gives away frustration. A sudden change in tone reveals insecurity. An angry outburst exposes emotional dependence. Every instant reaction is a leak, an unintended message broadcast to those who know how to listen. But when you stop reacting instantly, you stop leaking your intentions. You become unreadable, and unreadable people naturally command respect. This is not about manipulation or coldness. It is about emotional discipline, the ability to experience a feeling without immediately acting on it. Psychology calls this response inhibition, a core trait of high emotional intelligence. It allows you to remain still while others are overwhelmed by their impulses. In everyday life, this stillness becomes influence. People become cautious around the one they cannot predict. They choose their words carefully. They avoid testing boundaries. They think twice before provoking or deceiving him. Your calmness makes them unsure of what matters to you, what bothers you, and what motivates you. And uncertainty in human psychology is deeply disarming. This is why powerful people often appear quiet, not because they lack emotion, but because they refuse to show it cheaply. Their silence is intentional. Their timing is deliberate. Their presence is steady enough to unsettle those who rely on chaos or drama to gain control. When you master restraint, you master direction. You decide when to speak, when to act, when to walk away, and when to engage. The moment you stop being reactive is the moment you stop giving the world control over your internal state. That is where true power begins. Number 2, mastery over emotion, seeing instead of feeling. Machiavelli believed that men who are ruled by emotions are easily governed, and Sun Tzu taught that emotional turbulence clouds strategy. Though separated by centuries and cultures, both thinkers converged on a single truth. A man who cannot master his inner state will always be vulnerable to the outer world. Emotional domination is subtle. It is not the dramatic outburst people imagine, but the quiet loss of equilibrium. When anger makes you speak too quickly, when insecurity makes you agree too quickly, when fear makes you retreat too quickly. In these moments, you are no longer acting, you are reacting. Your behavior becomes an extension of someone else's influence. This, to Machiavelli, is how a man becomes governable. He surrenders his sovereignty without noticing it. Sun Tzu saw the same weakness through the lens of warfare. Emotional disturbance, he warned, blinds even the intelligent. A mind shaken by offense, pride, jealousy, or impatience loses its capacity to calculate. Strategy demands stillness. It demands that the mind observe the battlefield, literal or psychological, without distortion. When emotions dictate perception, a man stops commanding the chaos and becomes part of it. This is where many misunderstand composure. The composed man does not suppress feelings. Suppression is fear. Instead, he creates distance from them, which is mastery. Imagine emotions as waves rising and falling. Most people stand knee-deep in the surf, letting every wave strike them directly. The composed man steps back far enough to see the movement without being consumed. He still feels, but he does not drown. He still reacts internally, but he does not respond impulsively. This psychological distance grants a rare advantage. With space, clarity appears. He can see not only what is happening, but also why it is happening. Patterns in behavior unveil themselves. Hidden motives in conversations become audible. Weaknesses in others' emotional displays reveal themselves. He becomes ungovernable not because he is emotionless, but because he refuses to be ruled by what he feels. In conflict, this clarity allows him to respond with precision rather than force. In negotiation, he listens for the truths beneath the surface. In relationships, he avoids the destructive traps of reactivity. In everyday challenges, he navigates life with a calm that others mistake for mystery unshakable confidence, or even power. The man who creates distance from his emotions does not become less human. He becomes more intentional. He stops being shaped by circumstance and becomes the author of his own actions. This, Machiavelli and Sun Tzu would agree, is the foundation of real and lasting strength. Number 3, controlled silence, the most misunderstood tool. Silence is unsettling because it forces others to grapple with themselves. Most people rely on noise, constant explanations, rapid responses, endless conversations to relieve their own internal discomfort. When you refuse to participate in that cycle, you interrupt their psychological rhythm. They suddenly have to confront the unspoken. They start filling in the blanks with their own assumptions, insecurities, and fears. This is why silence, when practiced with intention, becomes one of the most powerful forms of influence a man can possess. A man who speaks only when necessary creates an atmosphere of controlled presence. He doesn't need to dominate the room with volume. His restraint becomes its own form of dominance. People lean in, pay attention, and wait for his words because they know he does not waste them. The fewer words he uses, the more weight each one carries. This is the essence of gravitas, an energy that draws people without effort, a quiet intensity that cannot be ignored. Niccolo Machiavelli observed that unpredictable men command more influence because uncertainty creates psychological leverage. When others cannot easily read you, they begin projecting their own interpretations onto your silence. Some assume strength, some assume confidence, some assume deep strategy. Without saying anything, you become larger in their minds than you are in the room. This is not deception. It is the natural effect of disciplined self-control. Sun Tzu taught a similar principle. Reveal nothing unnecessarily. When you withhold your emotional responses, your intentions, and your next move, you preserve your advantage. Others expend energy trying to decipher you while you conserve yours. Your silence creates space, strategic space. It is an environment where you observe clearly while others reveal themselves through their reactions. Silence is not avoidance. Avoidance stems from fear, discomfort, or lack of confidence. Strategic silence, on the other hand, is rooted in emotional regulation. It is the conscious decision to respond deliberately rather than react impulsively. It is choosing clarity over noise, patience over haste, and depth over superficial engagement. In everyday life, the silent man unsettles, not because he intends to intimidate, but because he refuses to mirror the world's frantic pace. He disrupts the predictable pattern of social behavior. People cannot place him, cannot box him in, and cannot anticipate his moves. And in a world addicted to constant disclosure, the man who reveals little becomes exceptionally rare, and therefore exceptionally powerful. Silence, when mastered, is not emptiness. It is presence, it is awareness. It is control of one's internal world, projected outward into a form of influence that does not need to announce itself. It is the space in which true strength gathers, concentrates, and eventually speaks, but only when it must. Number 4, the power of slow decisions. Sun Tzu advised that speed should never replace precision, a principle that modern psychology continues to validate. In both war and everyday life, rapid reactions are often mistaken for competence. But Sun Tzu understood that an uncalculated move exposes a person more than it protects them. Today, behavioral studies echo this wisdom. Delayed responses, whether in conversation, decision-making, or conflict, lead to clearer thinking, higher emotional regulation, and significantly fewer mistakes. When a man takes his time, he signals something deeper than patience. He reveals that his inner state is not controlled by external forces. This alone disrupts the rhythm of those who depend on speed, pressure, and impulsivity to feel in control. People who rush are often motivated by anxiety, fear of silence, or the need to dominate the tempo of an interaction. They speak quickly to fill gaps, decide hastily to avoid discomfort, and react instantly to appear confident. But beneath their speed is instability. Modern neuroscience shows that the brain under pressure defaults to habitual thinking, not intelligent thinking. When someone is forced to respond immediately, they rarely access the deeper, more rational parts of their mind. Their reactions become predictable, emotional, and easy to manipulate. But when a man slows the pace, he shifts the power dynamic. He forces the other person to step into uncertainty, and uncertainty is where people reveal who they truly are. A man who takes his time doesn't fear silence. He doesn't chase validation through instant answers. He doesn't allow another person's urgency to hijack his judgment. Instead, he observes, evaluates, and chooses the most effective response, not the fastest one. This is not passivity, it is strategic restraint. And this restraint terrifies impulsive people because it exposes their lack of internal order. They are unsettled by a man who is not pulled into their emotional speed. They sense, often subconsciously, that he cannot be rushed, coerced, or destabilized. This kind of deliberate slowness is not laziness, it is a display of sovereignty. It shows a man is grounded enough to think before he acts, and secure enough to let others misinterpret his silence, knowing that clarity comes with time. Precision, not speed, is what shapes outcomes. And when a man operates with precision, he becomes difficult to predict and even harder to control. In a world dominated by haste, the man who moves slowly but intentionally holds a rare and intimidating advantage. His calm pace reveals strength, his silence reveals depth, and his deliberate responses reveal a mind that refuses to break under pressure. Something those who rush can never imitate. Number 5, understanding motives instead of words. Machiavelli taught that human beings reveal their truth, not through the promises they make, but through the patterns they repeat. Words are cheap, often shaped by fear, desire, or the need to impress. But behavior, consistent behavior, rarely lies. The composed man understands this. He does not take statements at face value, nor does he rush to judge. Instead, he observes quietly and patiently, allowing people to show him who they truly are. He listens beneath the surface, not to the noise of conversation, but to the deeper signals that leak through tone, timing, silence, and contradiction. This kind of perception is not aggression. It is awareness. It is the ability to notice how someone treats the powerless, how their mood shifts when envy is triggered, how their generosity disappears when there is no benefit attached. The composed man pays attention to subtle cues, facial tension, defensive language, exaggerated enthusiasm, avoidance of responsibility. These micro-behaviors reveal insecurities and ambitions far more reliably than any speech designed to impress. He sees the fear behind bravado, the longing behind hostility, and the hidden agenda behind excessive kindness. This makes him formidable, not because he seeks to manipulate, but because he refuses to be blind. His strength lies in detachment. He does not react impulsively to what people say. He responds only to what is proven through action. This protects him from deception because most manipulation depends on emotional immediacy. When someone cannot draw him into their urgency, their tactics lose power. He becomes the one variable they cannot control. Machiavelli believed that clarity about human nature grants strategic advantage, and the composed man embodies this principle. He recognizes desires before they are spoken, noticing who hungers for validation, who fears abandonment, who seeks dominance, and who hides a fragile ego behind charm. He sees ambitions emerge long before they are formally declared. He understands motives, even when people disguise them with politeness or moral language. This is not cynicism, it is realism, and realism creates calm. Because he cannot be deceived easily, others find him hard to manipulate, harder to predict, and nearly impossible to control. The very presence of someone who sees clearly disrupts the usual social games. People sense that their masks do not work on him, and this unsettles them. He does not need to expose their flaws. He simply refuses to participate in illusions. His composure is not an act, it is the natural posture of someone who understands how people operate. And that understanding, quiet and steady, is what makes him truly powerful. Number 6, the unshakable center becoming the still point. Sun Tzu believed that victory is never born on the battlefield. It begins quietly, long before any conflict appears. It begins in the internal landscape, the mind, the emotions, the spirit. A man who learns to discipline these inner forces becomes someone the world cannot easily disturb. He does not need to announce his strength. He does not posture or assert dominance. His power comes from the silent order within himself. Sun Tzu taught that the greatest warriors do not harden themselves through aggression, but through clarity. They cultivate an inner alignment so steady that no external turbulence can dislodge them. In this state, the mind is not reactive but observant, the emotions are not impulsive but measured, and the spirit is not restless but grounded. Such a man carries a calm that others cannot decipher, and that is precisely why they fear him. Most people attempt to influence the world without ever mastering their own internal chaos. They try to dominate situations while being dominated by their own thoughts. Sun Tzu warned that this imbalance creates vulnerability. When your inner world is unstable, the smallest external pressure becomes a threat. But the man who centers himself becomes the opposite of this. He does not rise or fall with the moods of others. He does not bend under social pressure. He does not seek validation, nor is he wounded by disapproval. His stability operates like an invisible shield, one that cannot be manipulated because it does not depend on anything outside himself. This inner stability becomes a silent weapon. It requires no force, no confrontation, and no dramatic gestures. Its power is subtle, but unmistakable. People sense it before they understand it. They become uneasy around someone who cannot be provoked, controlled, or influenced. They project their own instability onto him, mistaking his calm for coldness, arrogance, or unpredictability. But in truth, his calm is simply sovereignty, complete self-command. Machiavelli echoed this idea centuries later when he wrote that the most dangerous man is the one who governs himself before he attempts to govern anything else. When a man no longer allows the world to dictate his inner state, he becomes a force that others unconsciously respect or fear. He is not unmovable because he is rigid, but because he is rooted. And from that rootedness, all true victory begins. The skill that terrifies other men is not aggression, dominance, or intimidation. It is the quiet mastery of your internal world. Machiavelli and Sun Tzu both understood that the man who controls himself inevitably influences everything around him, not through power over others, but through power over his own mind. Walk slowly, observe deeply, respond intentionally, and you will carry the kind of presence that needs no explanation.